Welcome back to data analysis in Excel. In the last class, we looked at writing simple formulas. We looked at the key strokes for addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, and we looked at some examples of a bakery and how to calculate revenue, product cost, transport cost, and also profit. We also looked at BODMAS and how it is important for us to understand the flow of operations in Excel, that division and multiplication will always be done before addition and subtraction. And we also looked at how to write a simple sum formula to add up numbers. However, there was something that we missed out on last class, which is our unit averages. We cannot leave our numbers looking so scary and big like this. These decimal points are just too much. So we need to learn how to format our numbers to make them look presentable. Now, for many people, we can just select the range and either go to home, select maybe currency, or click on the comma star to give it two decimal places. But generally, when you want to format cells, it's always advisable to go to the format cells dialog box. So you can either get there after selecting the range, I can right click and I'll see format cells here, or I can press Control 1. Control 1 is the shortcut for format cells. And here in format cells, the reason why this is better is because not only do you have the option of formatting it anyhow you like, you can also deal with the alignment, font, can give it borders, you can give it a fill, you can even protect the sheet all from this format cells dialog box. So it's like a one-stop shop for everything you need as regards formatting. So in this case, we just want to give it two decimal places and a comma. So I can click on number, two decimal places, use a thousand separator, and I press OK. That looks way much better. So note that the numbers are still there, but they've just been formatted to look better. All right, now let's go to percentages. It's very important to know that in Excel, all percentages are stored as decimals. So 25% basically means 25 over 100, which is 0.25. So 25% and 0.25 basically mean the same thing in Excel. So if I take a number 150, right, and I say 150 times 0.25, that gives me 37.5. If I say equals 150 times 25%, I'll get the same value because 25% and 0.25 are basically one and the same in Excel. All right, so it's very important that you understand that fact. Now, to add x percentage to y, you have to multiply y by 1 plus x. Now, what does that mean? Let's assume that we have an original number. Let's assume our original number is 650. Now, I want to add, let's say 5%. I want to increase 650 by 5%. So adding it means I'm going to take 650 and I'm going to multiply it by 5%. Remember that taking 650 and multiplying by 5% is the same thing as taking 650 and multiplying it by 0.5. I can see this is 32.5%. Oh, this is not supposed to be percentage. Let me change this format. I can see that this is formatted as a percentage. I want to format it to a general format. So I can either go to home, click on this drop down here and click on general, or I can press my Control 1, select general, and then OK. So just to show that 650% is 6.5, but actually I want to type 650 and I press enter. Here is also formatted as a percentage. I don't want that, so I can do Control 1, go to general, and I get my answer. In fact, let me select this entire range and just do the same thing. Control 1, general, OK. All right, so I have a number 650. I'm adding 5%. So 5% of the original number is this 32. So that means the new number is going to be the original number plus the extra. And that gives me 682.5. What if I add an original number again of 650 and I want to deduct, let's say I want to deduct 20% this time. So I'm going to take 20% and I'm going to multiply it by the original. So that means I'm deducting 130 from this 650. So that means the new number is going to be 650 minus 130, and that gives you 520. Now it's important that you know that we can also calculate this in one step using BODMAS that we learned in the previous video, because I can see that all I'm doing is I'm taking this number, I am multiplying this number by 5%, and then I'm subtracting the original number from this number. So I can calculate it this way. New number, I'm going to call this new number 2, right? So the second way of calculating this is going to be equals, I'm taking 5%, right? I'm multiplying it by the original number. That gives me the same 32. Now I'm going to take this 650 and subtract it from this value. So I have to go before the 5%, select this value, and type minus. So what this formula is saying is take this number and subtract 5% of this number from it, from the original number. And I'm doing that now. In this case, you notice that the multiplication will be done before the subtraction. And actually, we want the multiplication to be done before the subtraction. So I don't need to put brackets here to force this to happen, because this will happen automatically. So I can remove my brackets. Once I press this, I get, okay, so, here I was adding, can you imagine, here I was subtracting, so I need to change this to a plus so that I can add it, and yep, I get the same answer. So you can see, taking the original number, adding 5% plus the original number will give me the same as what I've just done in 2 steps. Let me drag this down a bit. I can solve this using a third method, Ctrl D, and then, right? So instead of me to actually do this, if you remember maths, I'm taking this number plus this times this number, so I can factorize this number out to get this number into 1 plus the 5%, right? So I can say, which is how we got this formula here. Take the original y and multiply it by 1 plus x%, right? So in this case, I can say equals, I'm going to take this original value and I'm going to multiply it by 1 plus 5%. Once I close this, I get the same value back. Here, what did I do? I just took the original number, I added the value, I got the extra. I got the new number. Here, what did I do? I took the original number, I simulated this cell into the formula by taking 5% of the number itself and then adding it back. That gives me this. And here, what am I doing? I'm just taking this original number and I'm multiplying it by 1 plus the increase. So the same thing that we did here, we can actually do 1, 2 for this case when you want to deduct. Here you are deducting 20%. Okay, so the first thing we did was to take 20% of the original number here and then to subtract the 2 values, right? But now the second way is we can take 20% of the original number, then I can come before it and then take the same number and subtract. So I'm taking 650 minus 20% of 650, and that gives me the same 520. Or you can use the third way, which for me is the easier way, to just take the number, and because we're not adding, we're subtracting, I'm going to multiply it by 1 minus. Notice that I can type 0.2 because 0.2 is same as 20%, just to show you that they are equal. I press Ctrl and enter, I get the same 520. So that's how you calculate, that's how you increase a number or you decrease a number by X percentage, right? Now, let's move on to calculating percentage change between 2 numbers. And there are 2 formulas you can use. You can either take the new minus the old and divide it by the old, or you can take the new divided by the old minus 1. Because based on maths, I can share this old for both values and I get this. But let's look at it in Excel here. And we're going to see how we can apply this adding and subtracting a percentage, and also looking at the percentage change from a value to another value. What's going on here? We have monthly values, and as well we have the quantities and the unit price. So we want to calculate the revenue, we want to calculate the percentage change in revenue, and we want to calculate the percentage revenue with another formula. So let's see. To calculate the revenue, we know that we just have to take the quantity and multiply it by the price. So unit price times quantity gives me revenue. So I can click here and drag down, and that's fine. This gives me monthly revenues based on these quantities and this price. Now, we want to calculate the change in revenue. The change in revenue can be calculated using two formulas. We said it is the new value minus the old value divided by the old value. But notice that in this formula, we are commanding Excel, or we are forcing Excel to perform the subtraction first by putting it into a bracket. So let's do this. I have to open bracket. Notice that I pressed my equal to first because it's a formula. Open bracket. I have to select the February, subtract the January number, right? Close the bracket. So I'm saying this February minus this January, then divide it by the original number, which is the January, because I'm moving from January to February. So this is old, this is new. Once I press Control Enter, it puts in the percentage. I can just click and drag, and I can see that month on month, these are the percentage changes, right? If I come to this last value here, I can see I'm taking this, subtracting this, then dividing by the original. That gives me this. Now there's another formula. We said you can take the new, divide it by the old, and subtract 1. Let's see. I should get the same exact values. So if I say equals the new value, I'm going to divide it by the old value, and I'm going to subtract 1. So I'm saying this 1.8 divided by 7.3, subtract 1. I press Ctrl Enter. I see I get the same negative 75%. I drag it down, and I get the exact same values for those numbers. Now, let's look at a case where you have a price discount, right? Assume that in this case you have a discount of 10%. Let's just type 10%. I'm going to press Control Enter to put in 10% all through, right? So this is the unit price, but I'm giving a 10% discount. In other words, I'm not going to charge 120. I'm going to charge 120 less 10%. So it is an example of when you are trying to deduct a percentage from a number. So we have seen that there are three ways you can do it. You can either have an helper cell, or you can use any of these two formulas. I'm going to use the two formulas. We'll first use this, and then we'll use this second one, and we'll ensure that we get the same answer. So what's the formula we said? We said to calculate the discount itself, you're going to take the percentage discount and you multiply it by the price. If I take the discount value and multiply by the price, I press Ctrl Enter. Now what? I'm giving a 12 naira discount, because 10% of 120 is 12 naira. But this is not the discount price, this is just the discount. So to calculate the discount price, I have to take the unit price and subtract the discount. So I'm taking 120 minus this value. This value here is the discount. So if I press Control Enter, that gives me 108. If I drag it down, I can see that I'm giving 10% discount. Instead of charging 160 in June, I'm going to charge 144. Ctrl Z, Ctrl Z. Let me delete that. So let's see if we can apply the second formula, which is going to be, in this case, I'm taking the number and I'm multiplying it by 1 minus the discount. So let's see what I'm doing here. I'm going to say equals the unit price, which in this case is 120, multiplied by, I have to put it in bracket because I want to force the subtraction, 1 minus this value. So if I close the bracket, what this formula is saying is, Excel, take 1, subtract it from 10%. Remember that 10% is the same thing as 0.1. So 1 minus 0.1 will give you 0.9. I'm taking that 0.9 and then multiplying it by this value. If I press Control Enter, I can see I get the 108 value back. And I can click and drag, and I have this. Now I can calculate my discount revenue. My discounted revenue will be the discounted price, then I multiply by the quantity. So I can say equals 108 times the quantity, and I press Control Enter. That gives me this value. I can click and drag. Now, another way of calculating discount revenue is, you see this discount price column, I don't really need it, right? I can simulate this formula into my formula and calculate everything at once. So watch this. I'm going to select everything at once so I can type my formula here and press Control Enter. So I'm going to say equals, to calculate the discounted revenue, I need to take the quantity here and then multiply it by 1 minus the discount price, I close my bracket. So I'm taking the quantity, I'm multiplying it by 1 minus discount. If I control enter, this just gives me the discounted values. Oh, pardon me, I took the quantity, I should have taken the unit price. I'm discounting the price, not the quantity. So I'm taking the unit price, multiplying it by 1 minus the discount. If I press control enter, yeah, that's better. So now I can see that I've just done the same discount price. Now let me press F2 to go back into edit mode. Right. By the way, when you have selected a range of formulas like this and you want to edit the formula, if you click on it, it will remove the selection. So after selecting it, just press F2. Right. F2 goes into the active cell. So in this cell, all I need to do is I then need to take this number and multiply it by the quantity, which is simulating taking this color, multiplying it by quantity to get this color. So once I press Control Enter, you can see that I have my revenue numbers back. So now I just need to add the total. So to add totals, I can either type equal sum, or I can go to the home tab, and here is the auto sum button. And you can see on the auto sum button there is an alt equals. I'm going to use this shortcut a lot. Alt equals. So I'm just going to come here and press alt. I'm holding alt down. I press equals. That puts in a sum formula, and Excel can guess. Notice that the dancing hands, these dancing hands that are still running up and down, it shows that I've not selected. That means I can still change my range. I can say no, add this formula, add this place here, add this place, right? But this is actually what I want. So I can select this range and I press enter. I can come here, alt equals, press Ctrl enter, and that puts in the right formula. And I can come here, select both of them, and we'll press alt equals, and that puts in the correct formula for both of them. So what have we done today? We have looked at how to add a percentage. I've looked at how to subtract a percentage. I've looked at how to calculate the change in revenue. And we also did a reminder on BODMAS and how to use BODMAS to calculate numbers. So here is an example for you again, just something similar, but in this case, you have the quantity and you have the unit cost. So you can calculate your product cost, calculate the percentage change month on month, calculate the percentage using this second formula. And here you have, in this case, you have a constant discount. Here you have discount that is changing. So calculate your unit discount, that is the new discount, just like this, as well as the discounted product cost for using those two columns. I will see you in the next class. Thank you for watching this video. Peace.